from us. Cell phones is the latest. It just is a never-ending barrage and stream of hooks and entrapment.
Yeah, we have every kind of gizmo to distract us from what's going on. Every time there's some big event going on, we get little fluffy silliness to concentrate on, rather than understanding that we're moving another 40,000 troops into another sovereign nation or some other maneuver.
Yes, it's all smoke and mirrors, and they just throw a little, razzle-dazzle in one direction, and everybody's looking over there, and it's like, well, the octopus has a lot of hands, and, if you're not paying attention, you might miss, I don't know what they're doing. I know the outline. I just don't need to dig any deeper than that, but the octopus is very busy right now, and they also have so many different mind control techniques now that it's not even funny. And, some of these events, these horrible, horrible murders and things that go off like fireworks, all of that stuff is contrived to throw us off balance. And they also feed off our energy, our negativity.
Not only that, but they're designed to hypnotize people into being completely anesthetized when they see it occur. This is why 12-year-old kids are raping 4-year-old kids, and they're seeing it on the internet, they're seeing it on TV, and it's mindless, so it has no value, no energy to them. It's just blind behavioral patterns that humanity is being driven into. So I do recommend people to get away, as far away from these hypnotic technologies as possible.
Now, there's a really positive element that you talk about in your book, Atlantis Rising, and probably other books too, that this technology, which has held a grip on humanity for so many thousands of years, probably since the beginning of time, will be loosened by the solar eruptions and flares, which is really a solar deity that's helping us to ascend into the next levels.
Yes, according to the Council, we really don't get the big picture here quite yet, and that is that what we see in the night sky and what we've been taught about the moon circling the Earth and the Earth circling the sun is quite archaic. Oh, these are conscious, living beings. They know, just like us, they know exactly what they're doing. They're climbing the light spiral of all consciousness to return to Source. Source being prime creator, the all that is, etc. So, I hate to say etc. when I'm talking about deity, so please forgive that tagline. Etc., etc., etc.
I do that too, because there's a whole string, 78 names for you-know-who?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So, the sun is getting ready to ascend. According to the Sirians, their own star system, a 3-star system, 2 stars ascended, 1 remains in the 3rd dimension. The 2nd star, Sirius B, is now in the 6th dimension, and that's where I've been blessed to have communication from, like a giant radio station of the mind. And Sirius C ascended to the 4th dimension. Nibiru, this planetary conundrum that we're dealing with, is a planet that used to orbit around the Sirian star C, but when it ascended into the 4th dimension, the planet got kicked out of the process of ascension and started ricocheting back between Sirius and Sirius and Ra, our sun, for some very complicated galactic dynamics that are described in the book, Atlantis Rising. So, boy, I just lost my chain of thought there for a minute. You want to run me back the question?
Yes. That the sun is ascending, and
thank you. That'll do it. Sun is a conscious being, and our sun is now preparing to leave the 3rd dimension. And the process of doing that is moving through its own astral cord which the physicists have believed is a black hole, or what they describe as a black hole, the council say is not a hole at all. It's their sun's ascension cord. Just like we have ascension tubes through which we go in and out of our body in astral journeys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the sun has its astral cord, and it is about to release itself from the density of the third dimension and take position in a higher realm. And that's why the Earth is ascending. The whole solar system is going through with the sun. How exciting is that?
But that is exciting. And of course, we know that from what you've learned from the Sirians and other channels that back this up, that Nibiru is kind of trying to throw a monkey wrench into all of that. What's going to happen to Nibiru, do you think?
I believe that Nibiru is going to be once again pretty much lost in space, because when the it can't hold resonance around Sirius A, it can't continue this weird orbit between the two stars. I think that the planet may just continue to circulate in space in some kind of a gravitational pull, but without Ra, the civilization will in fact die. And I do invite people to have some compassion for these Anunnaki guys, because in the end, they really are trying to bring the Earth down to a frequency that is low enough that that Nibiru can reach frequency with Earth and somehow pull itself through the ascension tube that we're going to go through and make it this time. They're not going to make it because their intention is of a very low vibration. So they will probably, that civilization I think is reaching its end. And those beings will find another reincarnation station somewhere in 3D and work on their karma as individuals and as a whole group until they are ready to move up. It's all life. It's all consciousness. It continues. No matter where it relocates, it continues. We're eternal beings, all of us.
Yes, and that's the good part. You know, once you get beyond the idea that there is no death and that we're eternal and infinite, then it kind of changes the way you see things.
It is the absolute ascension of the mind. There is no, in my humble opinion, there is no greater wisdom than the realization and the true believing that you don't die. When you get that, whether, as in my case, I had a complete out-of-body experience without question, saw myself lying on the bed, and yet I was as real and physical as I am every day, and had a confrontation with myself lying on the bed in very real terms, and I experienced that other state. And I know unquestionably that we do not die. I've been to this place which is utterly very similar to where we are now. So when you get that, when you truly get it, I think that's one of the greatest manifestations of ascension that you can experience.
Yes, and to remember that on a daily basis kind of moves you out of the lower frequencies.
Yes. Well, if you think about that, but no matter how it plays out, you're always okay, because you go through school. We're in school here. Who's not to say that the next location is not university level, and we're in high school here, and it just gets better and better, the higher school of learning.
Well, it certainly couldn't get much worse. Well, it could. It could. It could get worse. I take that back. Strike that from the records. It's easy to say what a mess, but I see beauty everywhere. And like you, I live in the country. I wake up to the birds singing. I don't want to sound like I've got my head in the clouds, but I take the time to celebrate the fact that at a certain point of the year, a certain bird call starts, and 2 days later, every time, the first bud comes on a certain flower. I take time to notice these things, because I know that when we're in a lighter density, I'm going to miss that, seeing that happen.
I'm going to miss a fine wine. I'm going to miss the crackling fire. So I see beauty in these things, and I search beauty. I follow beauty. I follow happiness. I follow love.
Yes, yes.
But neither am I blinded or afraid to look at what you said before, those dark things. I'm more than willing to look at them and discuss them and say, put them on the table and let's talk about them so we can isolate them from the fear that's attached to them. Remove them from the density of fear.
Well, you know, yes, and that's such a wonderful way to put it, because it's like we're afraid of the boogeyman in the closet, and that's our mass denial of the unconscious and shadow aspects. But once you look into that closet and you, without fear, you know, maybe somebody has to hold our hand, and that in many cases those are the shamans or the way showers or the light bearers or the light workers, whatever you want to call them, will gently hold our hands and say, well, this is what's in the closet. Let's look at this together. And once you understand a little bit more, you shed a little bit, take a candle in there and say, well, this is on this shelf and this is on this shelf. Well, then it's just like towels and T-shirts and clothes and stuff like that. or it's, you know, you can use any metaphor you want. But it's nothing to be afraid of.
Bringing the candle in there that takes away the boogeyman, and the candle is the light of consciousness awareness.
Absolutely right.
So shine the light of consciousness into fear. The fear, by nature of that consciousness, dissipates. But if you're afraid to look at it, it grows.
Yes, yes, and it will bite you in the you-know-what.
The arse.
Yes, that.
I say the arse, so I'm not saying a bad word.
Yes, yes. Well, it's so funny you should mention about the fire, because you know, it's gotten cold enough here in the country to where I'm having to light a fire. In the crackling of the fire, there's a little bird out on my deck, which is no more than 20 feet away right now, eating bird food that I put up on the railing. And it's just, what could be more magnificent, you know, to be talking to one of the most wonderful people on the planet, looking at a little bird eating its food that I put out there, and there's hummingbird feeders. One came today. And these are the magical moments that make life special to me.
And it's really such an important thing, and so simple that, you know, in our movement, let's say, we really search for some pretty complicated ideas, and I certainly would say that a lot of the material is complex.
Yeah.
But truly, the miracle is these very simple things. And the problem is, we look beyond them because we're looking for loftier, more complicated ideas about the universe, and mankind has always sought to understand the beyond our reality. And yet, there's the little miracle, the way that a bird sings. I mean, this really does happen. The vibrational frequencies of some of the music of the birds communicates that ratio and proportion. We can make it complicated if we want. The geometric harmonies and ratios of the music connect with the cellular awareness, the cellular wisdom within the nature of the flower. It creates resonance with the flower, and it opens. But, you know, do we need all that? No. All we need to do is take notice that, wow, how perfect is nature. So sometimes we lose our way looking for the complexity of it all, as is nature of thinking man. We have these gigantic brains, and sometimes they distract us from realizing, like I said with the Mayan calendar, shamans don't really like to put it out there for you. You're supposed to get it, you know? And you shall find.
Yes, yes, absolutely right. And, you know, the other thing is, too, that we forget that we do have a great deal of assistance from many different densities at this time, as well as, you know, I guess if you want to throw in labels, you know, higher angelic realms and advanced civilizations that are keeping an eye on us. And I'm kind of suspecting and guessing that if it wasn't for them, we might have had a little... we might have lost our way on more than one occasion.
But no energy to them. It's just blind behavioral patterns that humanity is being driven into. So
Absolutely.
I do recommend people to get away, as far away from these hypnotic technologies as possible.
Now, there's a really positive element that you take from us. Cell phones is the latest. It just is a never-ending barrage and stream of hooks and entrapment.
Yeah, we have every
absolutely.
kind of gizmo to distract us from what's going on. Every time there's some big event going on, we get little fluffy silliness to concentrate on, rather than understanding that we're moving another 40,000 troops into another sovereign nation or some other.
Yes, it's all smoke and mirrors, and they just throw a little, razzle-dazzle in one direction, and everybody's looking over there, and it's like, well, the octopus has a lot of hands. And, if you're not paying attention, you might miss, I don't know what they're doing. I know the outline. I just don't need to dig any deeper than that. But the octopus is very busy right now. And they also have so many different mind control techniques now that it's not even funny. And, some of these events, these horrible, horrible murders and things that go off like fireworks, all of that stuff is contrived to throw us off balance. And they also feed off our energy, our negativity.
Not only that, but they're designed to hypnotize people into being completely anesthetized when they see it occur. This is why 12-year-old kids are raping 4-year-old kids, and they're seeing it on the internet, they're seeing it on TV, and it's mindless, so it has no value, no